Yeah, so we're trying to identify games where we can make some money with backup quarterbacks because we're not going to lay off. So we're going to keep going and play these. So how do we go about that? Well, how do we look at backups versus starters? I look at perception versus reality. Teams that had quarterbacks that maybe were perceived to being really good quarterbacks, and then when they get a backup in, letting the line move a lot because nobody wants to play a backup, and then creating value with that backup spot. Teams like Chicago, Justin Fields was the least most profitable quarterback in the entire league over the last year and a half. So him going out, really, I'm not losing any sleep over it. Whoever they have, they're not going to score a bunch of points. Their defense has been playing better, and they're playing a good opponent if you're going to play a backup. A team like New Orleans doesn't score a lot of points. 12 of the last 14 games have gone under. And as I said, Justin Fields, his perception of how good he is or was, not really the reality of it. Also, a team like Minnesota. Teddy's going to show you the other side of this, but I actually don't mind backups. Kirk Cousins has been a lot to them, but when they're playing teams like Atlanta, who, again, not going to score a ton of points, I think there's some value in playing the backup quarterback after the line moves. Minnesota under the last 5 games are not scoring a bunch, and actually under 8 of their last 9. So finding teams that are going to get to stay in the 20s is not the worst idea if you're trying to play backup quarterbacks.
And yeah, Teddy, jump in there. I kind of like when you guys have, different sides of the same game, because it gives everybody an idea of different angles of how you guys approach
Want to be right, want to be wrong. We good, right?
Yeah, you're allowed to be wrong about this opinion, Jack.
Well,
There
we're
we
going to
go.
see.
Backup quarterback tutorial. There's 3 basic concepts. First, what's the difference between the starter and the backup? Many times you have a backup that's every bit as good as a starter. In Minnesota, there's an enormous difference between Cousins and whoever they start at QB this week. Looks like Jared Hall, the rookie out of BYU. So, yeah, I'm not sold on Minnesota being good. So the difference between the starter and the backup is the #1 thing to pay attention to. But you also want to pay attention, can the team run the football, take the pressure off the backup quarterback? Is it a good defense that can get stops and keep it a low-scoring affair for the backup quarterbacks? If you can run and play defense, you can win games with a backup QB.